How's it going, ladies and Bruce's up? I'll be Sixkilla. Welcome back to Route Double. We got our first actual, proper, legit ending at the end of the final route of Route Double in the last episode. Now it's time to start running through these endings one by one. We didn't do a good ending last time, we did a normal ending. We got a few more normal endings to go before we get to good endings, before we get to the true ending. But for now, we need to know... Well, for now we know the three options of who's going to stay. So we're going to run through those three for the three normal endings. So next one is going to be Ukita, Watase, and Natsuhiko will be staying. The causes, or the ones to blame. We got Ukita at 4, Watase at 4, Natsuhiko at 4. And that should be correct. Let's go. Each option was as difficult to choose as the next. Is there no other route to take? Does somebody have to die? It was almost time to make their decision. The time to decide who was cast away was imminent. And so, Natsuhiko came to his decision. I'll stay. I'll stay with Watase and Mr. Ukita. He could understand their determination, and it didn't seem like anyone could convince them otherwise anyway. So Natsuhiko sent telepathy to Watase. Watase, don't say anything, just listen. I'll stay down here too. Let's allow the girls to escape. Watase glanced at Natsuhiko, as if to ask, you okay with that? Natsuhiko gritted his teeth. Of course he wasn't okay with that. I don't want to do it either. Of course I don't want to die. But Natsuhiko made a promise. To get Yuri out of there no matter what. He made a vow to himself that no matter what happened from here on out, he'd protect Mashido and Sally. He didn't want to go back on his word. Natsuhiko had been protected by everyone else this entire time, so this is the least I can do to repay that debt. With that thought, Natsuhiko smiled back at Watase. It's okay. There's no other way. The problem is that even if I'm going to stay behind, Yuri and the others won't accept it. So we have to take emergency measures. Please knock out Yuri, Mashido, and Sally for me. And then somehow persuade Miss Tachibana and the others to carry them outside. Watase felt silent and said nothing. But eventually he nodded resolutely. Got it. When he heard that whisper, Natsuhiko sent the same sort of telepathy to Ukita. Mr. Ukita, I'll stay down here too. What? Watase's gonna knock out Yuri, Mashido, and Sally, and then he'll get Miss Tachibana to carry them. But then you... And then, as if triggered by Ukita's voice, Watase jumped at Sally. Sally's body stiffened for a second. But before she could ready herself, Watase hit her in the neck with a knife hand strike. Sally groaned and fell on the spot. What? What are you doing, Captain? Kazami and Jun shouted in shock. But without stopping, Watase wrapped behind Mashido and squeezed her neck. She fell unconscious all too easily. Everyone stared in wide-eyed surprise at Watase's abrupt actions. Captain Kasasagi, don't tell me the malice relapsed. Ina covered Yuri in confusion. Yuri looked at Natsuhiko and shouted, he couldn't. That means we'll have to go back one more time. And when he heard those words, Natsuhiko shook his head and used telepathy. Yuri, Watase hasn't gone mad. I told him to do this. Huh? We've come to our decision. Watase, Mr. Ukita, and I will be the ones to stay down here. We'll have Miss Tachibana carry Sally and Mashido. No. Don't do it, Hikinen. We can't let ourselves get separated after all we've been through to get back together. Yuri's telepathy was filled with her emotions. Her grief, her concern, and her desperation. Natsuhiko smiled and gave his answer. Sorry, Yuri. Thank you so much for everything you've done. Send my regards to Mashido and Sally, and Mum for me. Hikinen, no, stop! But in spite of Yuri's desperate telepathy, Natsuhiko sensed sympathy on her. And he blew away her memory of the present, in the same way he once did to knock out Watase. Hikinen? And with that final thought, Yuri fainted. When Natsuhiko returned to reality, he saw Yuri slowly falling to the floor. Ina gasped and caught her. Watase used that opportunity to take his gun out of his pocket and pointed at Kazami and the others. What is the meaning of this, Captain? Kazami glared at Watase. Watase looked her back in the eye and answered, There's no time to argue, so we had to take extreme measures. But we've come to our decision. Natsuko, the old man, and I will stay down here. But don't just decide things on your own like that. That's right. I can't let a student of mine get caught up in... I just said there's no time to argue. Ina and the others trembled at Watase's angry shout. We'll stay in the control room and open the bulkheads. Kazami, Mortabe, Teach, you guys take Yuri and the others outside. Watase spoke with a stern voice. But Kazami couldn't keep quiet. You think you can stop me with that thing? Are you gonna shoot me? I will. I'm no longer a rescue worker, see? Kazami's expression warped at those words. Watase. Right when she tried to rush over to him, Watase pulled the trigger. The bullet landed by her feet. Kazami stopped. Watase continued. Understand? I have no qualms pulling the trigger on this life-stealing tool. I've long lost the right to be called your squad mate. But still, let me give one last order. Tachibana, Mortabe, rescue these 3 survivors and get them out of here. You two are rescue workers. It's your mission to save lives. Captain, Jun spoke tearfully. Eventually, Kazami nodded bitterly. Understood. We'll carry out our mission. Thank you, Kazami. As Watase squeezed out his voice, his face warped in bitter pain. He lowered his gun and addressed everyone. Now then, Kazami, Mortabe, Teach. We'll open the bulkheads in exactly 3 minutes. Get out of here immediately. Roger. Kazami muttered and shouldered Yuri. Jun took Mashiro and Ina took Salian. Before they left the control room, the 3 turned around and spoke. Let's meet again outside for sure. Captain, Natsuhiko, Mr. Ukita, don't die on us, okay? I'll never forgive you if any of you 3 die. And with those words, the woman left the room. The men left behind sighed heavily. Don't die, huh? Now that's a tall order. Well, if they didn't believe in the possibility that we'd survive, I don't think we could have got them out of here. Indeed. Well, whatever. Let's focus on what we need to do first. Natsuko and Ukita nodded at Watase's words. They then stood in front of Brain Cell's control terminals. They watched the clock and waited for the time to open the bulkheads. Okay, now, open the bulkheads. Yeah. As Watase signaled, they operated Brain Cell. They stole root authority, cancelled the KCN declaration and opened the bulkheads. They had no means of checking if Yuri and the others had escaped, but they're probably safe. I'm sure that they were all able to escape. Natsuko and the others believed that. So at the very least, the girls are safe. Yeah, we fulfilled our minimum duty. Take some of the load off my shoulders when I think about it like that. They laughed faintly. Their facial expressions were blurred with resignation. We just wait for the explosion now, huh? Naturally, their chances of survival looked hopeless. That was for sure, no matter what Kazami and the others said. Watase, what time is it? It's 6:06. Only 10 minutes till detonation, huh? The moment he muttered that, Natsuko was struck by an intense fear. In 10 minutes I'll be erased from this world. I'll be blown to bits before I can feel any pain, buried deep beneath this pitch black earth. He can no longer escape to the outside. He would never see Yuri, Mashiro, Sali, or his mother again. Once the realization of that truth crushed his mind, Watase and Ukita spoke up. Now then, guess we should look for a way to survive. Indeed. Huh? Natsuko couldn't believe what he saw, but they kept speaking as if it were only natural. To survive, we should secure a place in this facility that the explosions can't reach. And explosions basically spread up and out. Right, so the explosion will rise from Area 0 to Area N, so let's keep all the Area N gates closed, except for the one leading to Area 2. That way the explosion will head towards Area 2 first. Which will make Area 5 on the opposite end relatively safer. Indeed, furthermore, the shelter's protective walls should increase any likelihood of survival. Right, so let's get to work on the double and... What are you talking about? Natsuko could no longer keep himself from interrupting their discussion. The Tetral bomb's powerful enough to blow all of Labo away in its entirety, isn't it? Do you seriously think that little trick can guarantee survival? I don't want to sit back and do nothing. And besides, it'll increase your chances of survival, won't it? What? That's right, Natsuhiko. We need to get you to as safe a place as possible. And the shelter is indeed probably the best place there is. It's in the next area. Can you move there on your own? On my own? What about you? What, are you stupid? Don't you know? Watase spoke with a wry smile on his face. To let the explosion loose toward Area 2, we need to open the security gate. Which means the two of us can't go to the shelter. Those security gates close automatically after a while, remember? So to open the gates for the connecting passageway from Area N to Area 2, we have to open the gates ourselves, in time with the explosion. Natsuhiko gasped at those words, but Nikita calmly nodded in complete understanding. The connecting passageway has 2 security gates. That's one for each of us. Perfect. You can't be serious. Understand? Then hurry up and go. I'm sorry, but there really is no time to argue anymore. Watase and Nikita smiled, as if they'd known from the start that it would end like this and that Natsuhiko would react that way. When he saw that, fine, I get it. I'll go. Natsuhiko declared that to Watase and Nikita. But just so you know, you're not getting any of my gratitude, okay? At best, all you're doing is taking responsibility for what you've done. So you berate me to the very end, huh? Well, what's wrong with that? He's got every right to berate us with whatever abusive language he wants. The two of them completely turned aside Natsuhiko's words. Natsuhiko really had nothing more he could say. Eventually, Watase looked at him and muttered, "So long, communicator." At those words, Natsuhiko cast his head down. "So long, terrorists." And with that answer, he rushed out of the control room. As he made his way to the Area 5 shelter, tears formed in Natsuhiko's eyes. Damn it, why? He thought he wouldn't have a single tear to shed for Watase and Nikita. But the tears wouldn't end no matter how much he wiped them. There was no guarantee that Natsuhiko would survive, even with Watase and Nikita's fatal wager. So there was no reason for them to make that wager in the first place. Oh, perhaps that was their way to atone. But still, that's just... His entire body ached from the wounds Watase had inflicted on him. But what hurt the most was his heart. Natsuhiko arrived at the shelter. He sat on the ground and thought to himself. At the very last moment, we ended up with another confrontation. But regardless, the fate had come to understand Watase just a little. That realization made Natsuhiko incredibly irritated and unbearably sad. It's too late to do anything. Shit, I didn't see that, sorry. Log. It's too late to do anything, it's not like I'm happy about it or anything. But still, to the very end, he was my partner. Then, just as a smile formed on Natsuhiko's lips, you heard a thunderous roar off in the distance. Roars and tremors approached through the floor. You could feel an intense force and extreme heat rushing through the facility. From Area 2 to Area 3 and through Area 4. All the way to Area 5 where Natsuhiko was. Natsuhiko yielded himself to the thunderous roar and softly shut his eyes. And we'll skip this once more. That's it. There's no afterwardsness. Alright, I'm gonna do a little cut here and I'll bring you back for the next one where we're going to have Kazami, Natsuhiko, and Yuri, the BC users, stay behind. Normal ending 2, salvation from the root. The result of the 3 at fault remaining in Labo. You may be able to avert this fate by making a decision that ties to another possibility, the SSS input, just before this ending. Otherwise, we've done this last time. Alright, I'll bring you back. I'll bring you back for the next one. Alright, we are back and it's time to pick Kazami, Natsuhiko, and Yuri, the BC users. Or at least the extremely powerful BC users. Where are we? Kazami, Tachibana, there. And with that set up, that would be the last of the normal endings. Let's get into it. Each option was difficult to choose as the next. Is there no other route to take? we've done this already. The ones of us who can use sense sympathy will stay. He considered the idea for a moment, but he didn't quite understand what Kazami was thinking. When he looked at her and tried to ask, he received telepathy from her. Sixkilla, please calm down and listen. I've thought of just one way to make sure everyone survives. Huh? Natsuko's eyes widened at those words. But we have to stay down here for it to work. Hey, wait a second. How does us staying here relate to everyone's survival? It doesn't matter who stays behind, but regardless of who stays, they will. It'll cause an intense argument, won't it? It'd be fatal to waste any time in this situation. But we have a means to persuade everyone smoothly. Once he heard that, Natsuko finally understood what Kazami was getting at. You mean we'll persuade everyone with memory manipulation? Yes. If I stay, then Watase and Jun wouldn't agree to it, see? But if we change that problem at its source, say we cleverly falsify my relationship with them, then we should be able to persuade them without question. Please understand, Sixkilla, we don't have time. I don't want Watase or Jun to die. Nor any of the others, obviously. Sixkilla, you don't want Miss Tolba or Miss Sanomiya to die either, do you? This is the only way we can prevent those deaths. Kazami's resolve propagated to Natsuhiko along with her words, but Natsuhiko remained prudent and asked more questions. So if you, Yuri, and I stay down here, is there a way for us to live? I have an abundance of knowledge regarding explosives thanks to my line of work. I've been thinking of places where explosions from Area Zero wouldn't reach. Are there any? Yes, the small cargo lift in the room in the lift room in the factory. I think we'll be fine if we go there, but just in case, I'd like to get the other 6 out of here first. That's my plan. Can I trust in you? Kazami looked at Natsuhiko. There was not a shade of hesitation in her eyes. They were the eyes of a woman who constantly put her life on the line to save others. When he looked into her eyes, Natsuhiko felt he could trust her. I understand. I'll join you on your wager, Miss Tachibana. You can't opt in for Yuri, though. Please tell me the details of the alterations. Thank you for your cooperation. Kazami bowed her head and then explained the essentials of the plan. The key is to falsify everyone's memories at roughly the same time. A time difference would inevitably cause at least one person to make a commotion. So the 3 of us, that is, you, Miss Yuri, and I, will each alter 2 people's memories. And the details of the alterations? We should give the 6 of them a memory that will cause them to escape without worrying about us. In other words, there is no bomb. We'll replace it with the false information that unless 3 people open the bulkheads from the control room, they won't open for another 24 hours. If we convey that information to them, then I'm sure they'll leave without issue. Natsuko was a little uneasy about it, but there didn't seem to be any other option. He now had the same kind of resolve that Kazami did. Roger, should I tell Yuri the same thing? Please do. Natsuko nodded and said telepathy to Yuri. Yuri, can you hear me? Huh? Miss Tachibana thought of a way to get everyone to survive just now. And that way is... Natsuko explained Kazami's proposal to Yuri. Yuri quickly accepted the proposal. Yeah, that's something only we can do, huh? Yeah. Okay, then I'll take care of Marshidon and Salu. Okay, I'll cover Professor Tsubakiyama and Mr. Ukeda. Natsuko looked at Kazami and conveyed Yuri's thoughts. Miss Tachibana, Yuri agreed. Let's all alter everyone's memories together. Miss Tachibana, can you take care of Watase and Jun? Yes, I'll try. The 3 nodded at each other and stepped up to the other 6. What's wrong, guys? Think of something? Yeah, we did think of a way for everyone to survive. Natsuko answered, and they began memory manipulation. First, he instantly altered Enna's memory and erased all knowledge of the Tetral bomb from her brain, and he replaced it with false memories concerning the opening of the bulkheads. He then dove into Ukeda's memory and did the same falsification. Okay, that takes care of my share. Natsuko returned to reality. He saw Watase and the other 5 blinking in confusion. Did it work? Natsuko timidly tried asking them. So guys, the 3 of us will stay down here and open the bulkhead, is that okay? Right, someone's got to do it. It's got to be tough to be locked in here for another 24 hours, huh? You'll get hungry. Hungry was a word that really showed how unfazed Sally was. When Natsuhiko heard that word, he knew for sure that the memory falsification had succeeded. We did it. He exchanged looks with Yuri and Kazami and then began to speak. Right, so we'll open the bulkheads. Everyone else, please escape before us. Very well. But wouldn't it be better if we all waited the 24 hours together? Exactly, it'd be better than us splitting up. I don't see why it has to be you three in particular. No, this is the best plan. If all of us wait here for the 24 hours, it would lower everyone's stamina. That would increase the difficulty in getting away from Security Sector 6, wouldn't it? The three of us are high-level communicators. At the very least, the security department's got their eyes on us. Security Sector 6 will target us three, so if we all move together, there's a high possibility we'll hold each other back. Captain, please report the situation to the commander and get the others' support. Kazami's stifled voice seemed to overpower Watase and the others. I see one big flaw in this plan. When they get out, they're not going to tell Dr. Tenkawa that there's a bomb here, and they're all hanging out in the lobby. So the whole place is going to go up while they're standing in the lobby. Kazami's stifled voice seemed to overpower Watase and the others. Guess we got no choice then. Indeed. Everyone nodded at those words. Since they were under the impression that there was no bomb, they didn't put up much of a resistance. Marshido and Sally spoke to Natsuhiko and Yuri. Natsuhiko, Yuri, I'm sorry for entrusting such a tough role to you. I think it'll be tough to wait 24 hours. But once this is over, we can all go home. That's right, Hikiden. You, me, Marshido and Sally can all go home. Next was Zukita and Ena. I'm sorry, you two. We've gotten so far and yet we can't all escape together. But we'll come save you for later, for sure. I'll get back up from the ESB Bureau and come back here in the next 24 hours to make that happen, okay? We're counting on you, Professor. Natsuhiko answered with a smile. Finally, Watase and Jun spoke to Kazami. Lieutenant, please take care of Natsuhiko and Yuri. It's my fault that you have to put up with this responsibility. I swear I'll make it up to you outside. Yes, please do. Kazami spoke coldly. That exchange made Natsuhiko feel uncomfortable. There was something strange about what Jun and Watase had said. When Kazami spoke to everyone before they had a chance to ask. Now then, everyone, we'll open the bulkheads. Captain, Mortabe, Miss Tsubakiyama, Mr. Ikeda, Miss Toba, Miss Hanamiya, please escape. Yeah. The six responded enthusiastically and rushed out of the control room. After those six left, Kazami spoke to Natsuhiko and Yuri. Now then, Tenkawa, Miss Yuri, please stand by at the terminals. Let's open the bulkheads in precisely 3 minutes. Right. Got it. Natsuhiko stood in front of the terminals as told. As he waited for the designated time to come, he questioned Kazami. Miss Tachibana, about Watase and Jun. Don't you think those two are acting kind of bizarre? What about them? Well, like, why did Jun call you Lieutenant? She'd been calling you Sis up until then. And Watase's behavior seemed a little flat or something. Kazami's eyebrow twitched at those words. What else did she change in their memories? I went ahead and did a few more alterations to their memory. Alterations regarding their relationship to me. I'm simply Watase's subordinate. Jun and I are nothing close to sisters, just co-workers. I diluted our relationship in that fashion. For what purpose? So they wouldn't be sad when she died. Kazami didn't answer. Instead, it's time. Open the bulkheads. Right. Natsuhiko operated brain cell as told. They stole root authority, cancelled the KCN declaration and opened the bulkheads. They had no means of checking if Watase and the others had escaped, but they all got out of there, didn't they? Yes, I'm sure. After they'd said that, Kazami spoke up. Now then, let's make our survival preparations. Yeah. The time is 6:07, only 10 minutes till detonation. I'll take you two to the cargo lift immediately. An uneasy expression rose on Yuri's face, but Kazami smiled at her. Please relax, Miss Yuri. I won't let you die, I swear. I won't let you think that it's okay for you to die just because you're a communicator. Her expression was gentle, but on the other hand, her voice was oozing with determination. And thus, they moved to the cargo lift room. I think this is the best bet for them actually to survive too, the cargo lift. Once they arrived there, Kazami opened the door in the cargo lift and set it so that it would not close. She then removed the ceiling boards of the cargo lift cage. Explosions always spread up and out, so if we create a route for the explosion to escape, it should increase our safety. By the time she'd finished her work, there were only 5 minutes left until detonation. Kazami took a deep breath and spoke. Now it's complete. But to ensure we have the greatest safety possible, let's move as deep into the room as we can. Yes. Natsuhiko and Yuri nervously sat with their backs to the deepest wall of the room. So now we just wait. Yuri murmured that stiffly. Time slowly ticked by. How many more minutes until detonation? A sudden anxiety welled up in Natsuhiko's heart. Will we really be safe here? Right when Natsuhiko thought that, Kazami embraced the two children from the front. Kazami's arms were trembling. Once Natsuhiko noticed that, he softly spoke. Miss Tachibana, you're scared too, aren't you? No. But you're trembling. I'm okay. We'll survive for sure. Kazami answered clearly. There's something here that actually more effective as explosion protection than you would think. And that something will protect you too. Huh? What's that? You don't know, do you? Wood and iron aren't actually that effective as explosion protection. In the event of explosion, they're actually more dangerous because they can break into shrapnel and spread further. You mean human shield. Hard objects won't keep you safe. You need something moderately soft and fluid. Anxiety filled Natsuhiko's heart once again. Yuri squeezed out a question. Wait, Miss Tachibana, something soft? You don't mean... Yes, a human body. Natsuhiko gasped as Kazami continued. It might come as a surprise, but for example, by falling on a grenade, a human body can completely absorb the explosion, you know. And since human bodies are mostly water, explosions don't easily shatter them into dangerous shrapnel. So as long as you're in my arms, you're safe. What are you saying? That means you'll be giving up your life so we might live, doesn't it? No, this is just insurance. Even if I didn't do this, the explosion shouldn't reach this far. Then why are you trembling? Yuri's question silenced Kazami. After a short silence, Kazami whispered, I'm sorry, I lied. There's no guaranteed safe place in this facility. No way. Natsuhiko tried to shake Kazami off, but please don't struggle. Kazami shouted and pushed Natsuhiko down. Tikawa, Miss Yuri, please allow me to do this. Huh? I couldn't save that girl, my little sister. Kazami whispered that in a fading voice. She died here, right in front of my eyes. Nagisa died, just because she was a communicator. That's why at the very least I want you two to survive, no matter what. Kazami embraced the two children even tighter, as if to stop herself from trembling. Miss Tachibana. I'm sorry that we adults are such idiots. We stole away your happiness. Once you get out of here, live happily. Enough for Nagisa too. Once Kazami said that, they heard a thunderous roar off in the distance. Roars and tremors approached through the floor. And when Natsuhiko looked at the entrance to the cargo lift room, an intense sound, force and heat engulfed the three of them. Ooh. How much time passed since then? Yeah. But where am I? Natsuhiko woke up in a hospital room. His entire body ached terribly. You could tell his limbs were wrapped in bandages. Where are the other two? He saw Yuri lying in the bed next to him. Her body was wrapped in bandages too. Judging by the faint trace of redness in her cheeks, she seemed to be alive. Natsuhiko felt relieved, but then he noticed something. Kazami wasn't there. Miss Tachibana? No response. Miss Tachibana? No response. Instead, the door opened, and Dr. Tenkawa entered the room. Natsuhiko, you're awake. Mum? You were in critical condition. Thanks to that female rescue worker, you two barely survived that... Natsuhiko interrupted. What happened to Miss Tachibana? The professor gulped at that question, and quietly shook her head. We found you two still in her arms. But by then, she was already... The moment he heard those words, tears flowed from Natsuhiko's eyes. Sobs leaked from the back of his throat. The professor looked at Natsuhiko sadly. He recalled Kazami's words. That's why at the very least I want you two to survive no matter what. Once you get out of here, live happily. Enough for Nagisa too. Natsuhiko nodded to himself in tears. As Type S communicators, the two of them would probably face many hardships to come. But they would never let themselves be broken. They would survive through it all. To live the lives Kazami gave them to their fullest. Well, there we go. Everyone survived except Kazami that time. Not the perfect ending, but an improvement, I guess. Normal ending 3, protected by the Bird of Paradise. The result of the 3 S-type communicators remaining in Labo. We know the rest of that. With this, we're going to wrap this episode up here because we're out of time for today. That's 2 more endings down. We have many to go. And they're only going to get better, so that should be interesting, and some of them are very long. So, we shall see what is in store for us yet to come. Well, I imagine we've still got a good, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 episodes still of Route Double to go. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.